If I was you, I'd run. If I was you, I'd hide. If I was you, I'd be afraid. Afraid of what's inside. If I was you, I'd run. If I was you, I'd hide. If I was you, I'd be afraid. Afraid of what's inside. Afraid of what's inside.
Dark is one of the best shows I've ever seen. It focuses on a small town in Germany called Winden, where two boys randomly go missing, an apocalypse occurs, time travel exists, and multiple timelines are in effect. Yeah, it's pretty bizarre and everything is connected. Every event, every character, every storyline, every timeline, it's all connected. The show's lead, Jonas, takes it upon himself to uncover the mystery of what causes the apocalypse in order to set things right once and for all. If you haven't seen the show, I'm going to spoil parts of it, but won't reveal everything. Honestly, this show goes in so many different directions. It has multiple timelines, a plethora of characters, multiple versions of the same character. It jumps around in time by well over 100 years. So honestly, I don't think that I will completely ruin this show, given how complex it is and how much happens. However, if you don't want to know anything at all about this show, I do recommend turning this video off. So, Dark. I honestly wasn't sure what to make of this series after the first couple of episodes. It felt a little bit slow to me and I wasn't sure exactly where it was going. But as I kept watching the story unfold and more twists and plot reveals kept surfacing, I was hooked. Interestingly enough, the show gets more and more confusing the longer it goes on. By the end, things begin to finally get clearer, but up until that point, the show just gets more complex and confusing throughout. And yet, I was becoming more and more invested and obsessed. I didn't care that I was getting more confused, all I wanted was to figure out what exactly was going to happen next. And that's because this show has a lot of elements to help back up a complex storyline and make it engaging. Firstly, to start, it has a fantastic cast. The acting is excellent in this show, and these characters feel so incredibly real. Most of them are very flawed, and you feel that due to the believable performances throughout. Secondly, the production design is incredibly high. The special effects, the set design, and the editing are all top-notch. Without this, the show does not work. Thirdly, the soundtrack is excellent. Each episode ends with a slow-motion montage with music, showing the characters and how they're feeling and where they're going next, which is a stylistic choice that fits the show really well. These are the type of elements that had me hooked. There was clearly a ton of effort dedicated to the series. And if it wasn't for these elements, I'm really not sure that this show would work as well as it does. I would just be frustrated by the confusing storyline and unsure if I would feel invested enough to continue. But all the elements of Dark come together so well that it feels like, in all honesty, a masterpiece. Now I want to focus on one of the most important themes that this show has to offer, and that's love. I don't want to get too specific, but many aspects of this show are built around that very theme. The reason that the apocalypse even came to be, that time travel was ever invented, was out of love. Similarly, three of the show's main characters, Jonas, Martha, and Claudia, are motivated by love throughout all three seasons. Every action they take, every version of themselves who try to correct or change things using time travel throughout the timelines is all done from love and compassion. It's the driving force behind everything. And that is such a beautiful theme to me. The raw emotion that these characters feel throughout their respective journeys is touching. I fell in love with Jonas and Martha equally by the end of the series. I wanted nothing but to see them succeed. I wanted nothing but to see them end up together to finally be happy. Because throughout the entire show, they aren't. They're miserable, they're suffering, they're angry, and most importantly, they're sad. But we understand them enough to see how good of people they both are and how all they want to do is make things right. They just don't know how. And it breaks my heart, and it's that level of care that I have for these characters that have me so invested. It's that type of care that makes the visuals, the action, and the special effects that much more amazing to me. The series finale had me literally yelling at my screen because I was that invested in what was happening. I think that Stranger Things is the only other show that's made me feel so much emotion and had me this engaged. By the time Dark ends, I felt like everything was completed nicely. This complex journey has an end that justifies these characters' motivations in a clean and complete way. I honestly can't wait to rewatch the show because it's the perfect type of series to watch multiple times. Once you understand what's happening, I can guarantee that there are pieces of the show that will become much clearer on a second watch. Things that you probably misunderstood or miss altogether from a first viewing. I wish I could erase Dark from my brain and rewatch it from the beginning because it's really that good. Thanks for watching this video, guys.